Delighted to welcome onto the show this morning Paul Rowans. Paul from Norfolk and Waveney Mind, one of our chosen charities for this year. Good morning, Paul.
Morning, Nigel. How are you, right?
I'm very well. Good to speak to you. And
you.
You are officially a Complex Bereavement Service team leader, which is quite a mouthful, but I'm sure there's a full explanation. What does it mean?
It is, yes. I mean, yeah, it's quite a grandiose title, isn't it? But effectively, so within Mind, what we do is we support. So complex bereavement is defined as effectively people who've been affected by things like suicide. So people who are bereaved by suicide. So what we find is that suicide, for example, it's called a complex bereavement because it's effectively it's kind of like grief with the volume turned up.
Yeah.
So as you, I'm sure you'd appreciate, things like with suicide, there's a massive stigma attached to it. Often suicides are reported in the media, whereas other deaths aren't. There's a lot of anger. There's guilt. There's blame. People blame themselves, and there's really confusion. So there's all these extra emotions that you get alongside the normal grief process, and that's why basically Norfolk County Council's Public Health and also the Norfolk Clinical Commissioning Group have identified that as a real sort of something that we need to support.
Yeah.
And that's what Norfolk and Waveney Mind are doing.
And thank heavens there are people like you to offer that support. What is your background before coming into this role? Is it something you've always worked with?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for asking. I've worked for, so in my spare time, I actually volunteer for the Norwich Samaritans and have done for the last 10 years. So there's a real sort of passion of mine, and it's a real honour to be able to actually support people who are going through obviously a variety of different things. And as you know, Samaritans is or historically has been all about suicide and suicide prevention. So it's kind of working on both parts of it, I suppose. So that's a real kind of passion of mine, and it's great to be doing this as a job as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I hate to mention this on a Monday morning after we've just had a lovely sunny weekend and whatever, but is it a particular problem at the moment? Because we've had 2 years of, basically uncharted territory. We've all been through difficult times, and I know it has affected people. Are you finding this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as the charity itself, we've seen, as I say, we're a mental health charity, and we're the largest mental health charity in Norfolk and Waveney. And we've seen, in the last year, we supported about 29,000 young people and adults across Norfolk and Waveney. And we've seen 47% increase in referrals to our telephone service and 203% increase in our low-cost counselling. So all of these factors, yeah, there has been a real, I think, mental health crisis is a term that's used quite a lot in the media, and I think that's true. It's certainly impacted.
Obviously, this affects everybody, Paul, but you did put the emphasis there on the fact that I think you said 29,000 youngsters. Are you finding it's the young people in particular who are finding problems?
I think it's across the board, really. I mean, so for example, going back to the complex bereavement, we know that suicide impacts specifically on, or sort of mainly on men sort of over 50 plus. But we know that, yeah, I think there's a lot more awareness nowadays over mental health, which is great. And in terms of what to do to actively help your mental health. So so it's across the board, and obviously social media is playing an important part in raising that awareness as well.
Mind, obviously a national charity, but we're talking about Norfolk and Waveney Mind here. So does that mean you're able to tailor-make the service particularly for this area?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being local, we understand our community, and we tailor the services dependent on, and we know that, Norfolk, there can be a lot more isolation for a lot of people, and particularly the sort of farming community. And so, yeah, as I say, we tailor the services very much specifically. And that's why, so for example, with the service that I'm involved in, the complex bereavement service, we're just launching some new support groups.
Yeah.
Which is across Norfolk and Waveney, the anchor support groups, and they're starting this Thursday in the Wellbeing Centre in Norwich. So if anyone has been affected by suicide and wants to, is interested in more information about our support groups, then obviously contact Mind or the Norfolk and Waveney Mind directly.
Of course, and we'll mention those contact details at the end again, Paul.
Thank you.
The service itself, how does it actually work then?
Yeah, so there's sort of two parts to it. So what we found is that when people are initially affected by suicide, I've talked through what the emotions are, and actually they're in a really, really vulnerable place because research has shown that 65% of people affected by or bereaved by suicide are actually more likely to take their own life, and that's quite a disturbing statistic. So because of that, we are aware that people are potentially at risk themselves in the early part. So we provide what's called SAIL, which is support after immediate loss, and that's a one-to-one service that runs for up to 12 weeks. So we actually talk to individuals on a weekly basis, and talk with them and just go through, and we're there as a listening ear and supporting them.
And I was going to say, it's having somebody to talk to and who is going to listen and understand, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's just that opportunity to talk through all these different emotions that they have. Like I said, that because of the complexity of suicide, it's just that space and to be angry and to be angry at that person who they've lost and all these emotions that sometimes you're just not comfortable with. But actually it's really important that they do, they're still there. So it's really important that they actually share those emotions.
And for someone like you, obviously this is the work that you do, Paul, but you're only human, the same as the rest of us. It must be very, very difficult not to get too emotionally involved, but obviously you've got to be sympathetic at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we support, all the members of the team are really supportive. We're passionate about what we do, but as you say, we have a great deal of empathy as well. So it's sometimes these things cannot, you do tend to dwell on stuff, but that's where we have the support of each other. We offload, and as the team leader, I'm there to make sure that my team are supported.
Yeah.
And, being a mental health charity, we understand all about resilience and the things that you do, to support your mental health, like, even stuff like going out for a walk, getting out in the sunshine, exercise, all of the things that I think intuitively everyone knows what to do, and mindfulness and yoga and all of these things. And it's really so as a team, we're really supportive of each other and give each other the space to offload the experiences we've had.
Well, it's a wonderful service that you provide, Paul.
Thank you.
You're a charity, of course. How were you funded?
So we're actually an independent. So although we're part of the Mind Network, we are an independent charity, and we raise our own funds. So we rely on the support of very kind people like yourselves, and other local individuals, people who've used the service, and local businesses as well to actually to maintain the services that we offer.
So do support. We'll give your contact details again at the end. Also, there will be somebody listening at the moment. I'm sure this may well have touched a bit of a nerve here. Maybe somebody maybe yourself, and you want to just talk to somebody. What should we do, Paul?
Well, I mean, they can certainly, if someone really feels that they want to talk to someone, sort of here and now, then obviously they can contact Mind directly, and as you say, you'll give the number out at the end there, or with my other hat on, obviously Samaritans is an amazing charity, and they are a listening service, and they're there just to, if there's anything that's triggered over and above what we've specifically what we've talked about, then Samaritans on 116123 is a great place to just offload how you're feeling.
Well, I've got your website up on the screen here in front of me. Just mention the contact details, if you don't mind, Paul, and also the web page as well. Yeah,
of course. So the Norfolk and Waveney Mind number is 0300 330 5488, and our website is www.norfolkandwaveneymind.org.uk, and there is a link through from there to the complex bereavement team.
Brilliant. Well, you done, as I say, a fantastic job, Paul. Really appreciate your time this morning. And
thank you for the invite. Appreciate it.
As we're supporting you over the next year, I'm sure we'll be catching up again. So continue good work. Send our best wishes to the team. And,
of course.
We'll speak to you very soon.
Thank you, Nigel. Thanks for your time.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.